Home is where the heart is, and for Frank Sinatra, his heart found a home in the desert of Palm Springs, California. He visited Palm Springs in 1947 in search of a weekend home for his family. He wanted a private space where he could break away from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, but he did not want to be too far away from Los Angeles. Palm Springs was a perfect solution for him and other celebrities, as it proved enough distance from Hollywood and the prying eyes of the press. At the same time, it allowed them to get to Hollywood conveniently and within the bounds of the 2-hour rule. With this in mind, a new contract and his first million in the bank, Sinatra commissioned architect E. Stewart Williams to design and build him a Georgian mansion. Sinatra's was the first house Williams and his company were building in Palm Springs and would set the pace for the developments in the area. But Williams disagreed with Sinatra's choice of a Georgian mansion, which would not work well in the scorching Palm Springs desert. With this in mind, he presented Sinatra with 2 house designs: a Georgian mansion, per Sinatra's plan, and a single-story modern house that aligned better with the desert environment. Fortunately, Sinatra chose the second option, resulting in the now famous Twin Palms estate. Sinatra's Palm Springs home features a desert modernization style with clean lines, large floor-to-ceiling windows, a flat shed roof, and clerestories. He wanted the home built fast enough to host a Christmas party. With only 6 months to this deadline, Williams worked with a tight schedule, completing the home's design and construction shortly before the new year. Sinatra's home was a 4,500 square foot single-story house with 4 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms. It featured an open-plan setting, high ceilings, and spacious rooms. Outside the house is a piano-shaped swimming pool, which, according to Williams, was purely coincidental. Regardless, it perfectly matches Sinatra's keen love for music and is a major attraction in his home. The compound also had 2 prominent palm trees, giving the home its Twin Palms moniker. Sinatra added a flag post between the 2 palms and would hang his Jack Daniels flag as an invitation to his neighbors for the numerous parties he and his second wife hosted in the home. He moved into the house with his family in 1947, and the family remained there until 1951, when Sinatra divorced his first wife. Shortly after, it became the shared residence of Sinatra and his second wife, Ava Gardner. In addition to hosting famed Hollywood parties, this home became the ground for his tumultuous relationship with Gardner. The two were often embroiled in confrontations, culminating in physical altercations. During one incident, Sinatra left a crack in the master bedroom sink after he allegedly threw a champagne bottle at Gardner's head. Fortunately, the bottle missed and landed on the sink, leaving it cracked. The two divorced in 1957, and Sinatra sold the home to a Texan couple. The house fell into disrepair over 4 decades. The couple sold the home in the late 1990s. A few years later, in 2001, the home received a Class 1 Historic Site designation. This designation marked the beginning of the home's restoration to reflect Sinatra's life. As part of the restoration, the house was decorated with vintage designer furnishings, new technology was installed, and the kitchen was remodeled in its original style, but equipped with modern appliances. The 1950s were rough years for Sinatra. 2 of his long-term relationships had failed, and his career was slumping. At the same time, his neighborhood was growing, taking away most of the privacy he had loved when he moved to Palm Springs. But he had a strong attachment to Palm Springs, so it wasn't surprising that he bought another home in the city, this time a 1-story house on Wonder Palms Road. The house was a 2-bedroom property with a living room, a small kitchen, and an oval swimming pool. Next to the property was a golf course that opened to the pool. The home also had electrical generators that compensated for the constant power outages in the area. He also added 2 fire extinguishers as the city's facilities were too far. He bought the home from Austin H. Peterson, who had commissioned William F. Cody to design it. It's said that Sinatra fell in love with the property and offered to buy it from Peterson, who never got to move into the home. Sinatra further worked with Cody to design the expansion and remodel plans. Following an upturn in his career, Sinatra invested in this home, expanding it into a 2.5-acre lot. He also added other usable spaces to the property, turning it into an 18-bedroom and 23-bathroom property. He secured his property with a privacy fence, effectively separating his home from the connected golf course. As part of his expansion, he added 2 two-bedroom cottages with separate his and hers baths in each bedroom. He equipped the hers bath with professional salon hairdryers. He also expanded the original main house, adding a 24-person dining room, a catering kitchen with commercial-grade appliances, including a range, walk-in freezer and fridge, and a wine closet. Sinatra chose to work with the desert environment when landscaping his compound. He added different plants, including grapefruits, lemon and lime trees, prickly pears, cacti, and cholla. In addition to hosting his Hollywood friends in the home, he hosted John F. Kennedy in the guest house of his main house in 1960 and commissioned a plaque to honor the event. Kennedy enjoyed a good relationship with Sinatra, campaigning for his presidential bid in the early 1960s. However, their relationship started declining thanks to Sinatra's alleged association with the mob. Their relationship disintegrated in 1962 when John F. Kennedy stayed at Bing Crosby's residence instead of Sinatra's. Sinatra had constructed a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom guest house, a private pool, and a helipad to prepare for the president's stay. However, plans were changed at the last minute, resulting in what many think was the beginning of Sinatra's Republican leanings. It's also said he destroyed the helipad with a sledgehammer out of anger. This home on Winder Palms Road, now renamed Frank Sinatra Drive, became his permanent residence until 1995, when he and his 4th wife moved to their beach house. He entertained his family in the home, and Tina, his younger daughter, would say, "This was his home. You could feel it. It was full of great times. I met the world in that house." In addition to his family, his numerous guest houses on the compound hosted countless high-profile individuals, including President Reagan, Elizabeth Taylor, and Richard Burton. Sinatra was a popular host, and the design of his home reflected his attention to his guests' comfort and positive experience. Part of this included the detached guest houses, the large restaurant-style kitchen with staff who would meet the needs of each guest, and the well-stocked freezers and fridges. He also invested in a dedicated entertainment space in the projection room, where he and his guests caught up on movie releases. While entertaining was a major part of Sinatra's life, he also built a home with facilities for his hobbies. One is the caboose, a dedicated space that housed Sinatra's extensive train collection. Sinatra named the main house The House I Live In, a nod to his eponymous movie released in 1945. Shortly after his marriage to his 4th wife, Barbara Marx, further renovations would be made to his house. Barbara collaborated with interior designer Bernice Korshak and architect Ted Gransback to renovate the home. The project included tearing down walls in the central areas of the home and opening them up to allow more natural light. She also commissioned the addition of a master suite with travertine floors. Other modifications included a hot tub and an exercise room. Before Barbara's touch on the Sinatra residence, the house featured tons of oranges from the carpeting, drapes, refrigerator, and tiles. Working with the designer and architect, Barbara transformed the interiors with a desert theme of whites and browns. She also updated the furniture inside and outside the house. Sinatra stayed in this home until 1995, when his declining health forced his family to sell the estate, fetching more than $4 million. The home was sold to Jim Patterson, who turned it into a business retreat, while retaining the mementos Sinatra left behind. Sinatra loved Palm Springs and spent the majority of his life there. His primary residence until his later years was in Palm Springs, as are the memories he built with his children. So attached was he to Palm Springs that it was only fitting that he was buried in the land that stole his heart. Sinatra lived fully and authentically with his larger-than-life personality, whether in his home, career, or personal life. A man with connections inside and outside Hollywood. He made friends easily and opened up his home for some of the most popular parties in Hollywood. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss other house tours of popular icons.